I am home in my confines of my house and heading out to Las Vegas on Wednesday for Summer League, a 2-week journey in Las Vegas slash Los Angeles. We are going to do a trade video. Certainly, it's been a busy last couple weeks here, and it culminated with the moratorium being lifted on Sunday, and as Shams reported, a 3-teamer. Clips, Heat, and Jazz, all interesting perspectives to look at it for each team here. So I figured we would do a video. We put out their off-season sheets earlier today. We put out some teams yesterday with some of these official signings becoming official and also trades being finalized. And they're going to keep on flowing through, and we will keep you updated here. It's interesting from the perspective of Utah, who trade John Collins. He's on a $26.6 million contract, expiring contract. He's the last of the three. Colin Sexton got traded to Charlotte. Jordan Clarkson got bought out of his contract. Certainly opening up the ability for their younger players when you look at whether it be Walker Kessler, when you look at Taylor Hendricks, who's going to be back from this injury, Ace Bailey, Cody Williams, Bryce Sensabaugh. Your lineup certainly is a little bit of a mix of the youth, right? If you're looking at Collier, George, Kyle Anderson, who we'll talk about in a minute, Larry Markkinen, and then Walker Kessler. But there is a priority certainly to play the young players. Walter Clayton also, which is a guard, with this group here. The semantics of it is Utah will create a monster trade exception. If this is how they structure it, it will be $26.6 million, because remember, you can use your signing exceptions to acquire players. When you look at Kyle Anderson, we'll go into the non-tax level exception, which is 14.1, and Kevin Love will go into the biannual exception, which is 5.1 also. The contracts for both players, I'll read real quick, pull it up for you. Kevin Love's in the last year of his contract, $4.2 million. Kyle Anderson has 2 years left, $9.2 million and $9.6. The second year is non-guaranteed. There's protection at the I think it's June 30th, but June 29th or June 30th protection. I put it on one of my my tweets and everything like that. So I totally get it from Utah's perspective as far as why they went out and did a deal like this, because it does open up this monster trade exception. You can go out and do a sign and trade, perhaps, maybe one of these restricted free agents that you like, whether it be Kuminga or Grimes or Cam Thomas or Giddey. I don't think Giddey, but it just opens up and gives you a lot of flexibility as far as what you're able to do. One note on them, they have $146 million in salary. The salary cap's $154. So you would think, wait a minute, they're under the cap. Well, they're not, because when you look at the exceptions count against the salary cap, whether it be your non-tax, whether it be your biannual, or whether it be your trade exceptions, those count against the salary cap. So that is a little bit of a perspective on for Utah. Let's work our way backwards. Miami, low risk move. I really like this move for Miami. And I know people say, well, you got Tyler Hero already. I thought Norm Powell, prior to probably the All-Star break, was deserving to be an All-Star. Played extremely at a high level, had some injuries, of course, in the second half of the year. Had some really good moments in the playoffs with the Clips here. You're giving up two players in Kyle Anderson, who's a rotational player and certainly has, I don't want to diminish his value, in Kevin Love, who is towards the tail end of his career and was not part of the rotation, for a high level top starter. We put grades on each player and we tier them as far as franchise, all-star, all-NBA. Norman Powell is a high level top starter. He's on a $20.5 million expiring contract. How the trade works is that Anderson and Kevin Love, so that's $13 million, and you bring back 20.5, it allows you to get, you're in this tier 2 from a trade mechanics. There is an $8.5 million buffer, so that certainly works within the rules of the CBA. Norm is in the last year's contract. He's extension eligible for the next 6 months. I think it was 3 for $80 I put out there. This trade does hard cap the Heat at the first apron, because remember, you're taking back more money in a deal. You are $4.2 million below the first apron. You are hard capped. 1.3 over the tax. That doesn't really mean anything. Remember, the Tyler Hero bonuses count against the apron. You have roughly $2.5 million in unlikely Tyler Hero bonuses. I really like this for Miami, considering it's a low risk move. If they want to re-sign Powell to an extension, they can. If not, he becomes an unrestricted free agent. But he does provide a lot of value to what Miami is trying to do. And I love how people say, oh, they're just going to be a 6 to 8 seed. Well, listen, the Eastern Conference is wide open, and they are better. Miami is better today than they were yesterday. Okay, so that is it from Miami's perspective. The Clips. Now, the Clips are going to be interesting here. So Powell goes out, Collins comes in, Clips get hard capped at the first apron. They already hard capped because they used some of the non-tax mid-level exception on Brook Lopez. They are certainly big when you look at Lopez, Collins. They picked Yannick Niederhauser, who will probably spend time in San Diego with their G League team. Certainly Big Z is there already. Now this is going to be the question. Do they have enough to go out and get Bradley Beal? You have $5.3 million of your non-tax mid-level exception. You certainly need some depth with your guards when you look at Chris Dunn, Harden, Bogdanovic, and I was going to say Max Christie, Cam Christie. Certainly there's a priority for depth with, and Beal depends on, does Bradley Beal want to try to recoup some of this money that he might lose in Phoenix by doing the buyout, or is he willing to go play on a team that can maybe compete for a championship in the Western Conference? That's going to be the question for Bradley Beal, and we'll do a video if it eventually happens with a buyout in Phoenix, just kind of going through the ramifications here. They'll create a $6 million-ish trade exception, expanded trade exception. 20.5 goes out, 26 and 6 point comes in. You can have that $8.5 million buffer. I really like it for the Clips too. I like the fact that basically kind of, if you have another move up your sleeve, the Norm Powell move makes sense, especially for a player that probably thought he was going to get an extension on the first day of free agency, and that did not come to fruition. For a Clipper team that is loading up for the summer of 2026, they're in prime position to go out there and get a max player if he becomes available. I think that's going to be important when we look at where the Clips are moving forward. You saw the Harden contract. There's a partial guarantee of $13.3 million. There's a partial in year 2. Brook came in at 875 and 875. There's a team option in year 2. The Clips have $96 million in guaranteed contracts.
News out of the NBA, where the Clippers, Jazz, and Heat have agreed to a big-time 3-team trade. ESPN reporting that Norman Powell will be heading to Miami. John Collins sent to LA. And the deal also will see Kevin Love, Kyle Anderson, and a 2027 second-round pick head to Utah. Powell's coming off of the best scoring year of his career, averaged just under 22 points per game with the Clippers. Collins, meanwhile, had a good year, 19 points, 8 boards.